Okay. So welcome everyone, both those that are here, los que están aquí, and those that are online. Welcome to the library's last activity of the National Library Week, April 2025. And today I have the pleasure of presenting our very special guest speaker, Alejandro Rosado, who's here with us. Just a few things. Hopefully everyone can see and hear the presentation. It will be recorded, and we will be sending out the information of where that can be seen. So we've had quite a number of activities this week that started, and today is Alejandro Rosado's presentation, and I will be giving a quick bio here of our presenter. So this is just a quick sample of what our guest speaker Alejandro Rosado did for the promo over in Chicago. And I really liked that he was inspired by our previous speaker Edgardo Miranda, who was here on Tuesday. So hopefully everybody likes that. So Alejandro Rosado, known as AleroArt, is a Chicago-based Puerto Rican artist and a 2001 graduate of Columbia College Chicago, holding a Bachelor of Arts degree in illustration. Mr. Rosado is a versatile artist in varied mediums, including but not limited to comic books, logos, coloring activity books, 3D toy design, and storyboards for commercials and television. He also draws murals of his alley cat mascot around the Chicago area. Most recently, he completed and illustrated his fourth successful crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter, self-publishing graphic novels and activity art books. He is most known for his collaboration in short story anthologies with Mad Cave Comics and Aw Yeah Comics. He is most recognized for his story art in Lion Forge's 2018 Puerto Rico Strong, a comics anthology supporting Puerto Rico disaster relief recovery. This anthology brought awareness to Hurricane Maria and won the 2019 Eisner Award for Best Anthology. Alejandro has been teaching for over 12 years, creating comic characters for after-school programs within the Chicago Public Schools system, the Open Center for the Arts, and the Little Village community on Chicago's South Side. You can view more art and learn more about AleroArt at his AleroArt social media handle, as well as on AleroArt.com. So I'll leave this on for a few seconds so folks can scan that. And those that are here present, I'm going to hand around the Puerto Rico Strong book. And the AleroArt.com has all of the information on our guest speaker today. So with that, I will now pass it over to Alejandro.
Cool. Good morning, everyone. Thank you again for having me today. This is a very awesome treat. I'm just wowed at what was said, and very cool of everybody that's taking their time today, this Thursday morning, to be able to check out what I do. So thank you again. So yeah.
And just real quick, if anyone has any questions at all in English or Spanish, anytime during the presentation, you can ask them in English or Spanish, and I will then translate them, and then Alejandro can answer, so that there's no problem with that, okay? And those that are online, also, if you want to open up your mic and ask a question, no problem. You can also put the questions on chat, and I will send those off to Alejandro. All right, Alejandro, so it's all yours.
Okay. Thank you again. I'm AleroArt. I'm Alejandro Rosado, but my I pretty much put my name together as my first three letters of Alejandro, and then my last two, or for Rosado, is that. and I just put it together as like little anagram of it, and just goes by AleroArt. Um, I came up with that after graduating art school. Everyone needs a signature, and that was pretty much mine. I pretty much got that put together as something that when I would explain what my artwork was, even knowing before what my brand was, I just kept it. I always try to keep it simple with that. So I would get a lot of, how do I say your name? I said, look, well, let's put it all together, and that's that. So cool. So basically, this is me pretty much my daily routine in a nutshell. Who is AleroArt and in real life. So my routine basically is how I start my morning, and I gotta have my cafecito, my coffee to start the day. Regardless if I'm at my schools or freelancing, I just gotta have my coffee. Pancakes are optional with delicious syrup, but I like growing up. I was just always just into my in my art as to get through like through the day of just like creating. I was just always just like fascinated by uh, creating, and as an adult, I still sometimes forget that I still carry these traits around with me. So it's like, when are you gonna stop drawing? You know, why don't you grow up, type of deal. But this is all I do. This is what as an artist does. So as you can see in these panels, this is what I do. So it's like my breakfast. I go through my emails. I try to work out what I got to do for the day. Incorporating my freelance. I talk about later on. I have my podcast, and then regardless if it's going to be actual working with schools or freelance, I pretty much map out everything, as you can see in the third panel, and I say, I got it. Chicago is funny with the different weather. Being Chicago born, it could be cold, it could be sunny, it's all of that. And as you can see, I have the snow. Um, a lot of what I'm very excited about and like to let people know is I think we all should have some form of passing something along, of helping. And one of my jams is teaching. I had a really great teacher in college at Columbia College that pretty much expressed to say, besides getting into your craft, you should help elderly people, help animals, or get into teaching children and arts. And it was never in my trial to do that, but it just came natural. And is coming from a big family of 15 siblings as well, and I have beautiful nieces and nephews. It's just second nature. So I was always asked, besides being able to illustrate, hold the class, and they pretty much said that this is something that I was capable of doing. So I've been doing this for 12 plus years, all around Chicago, and going to different shows to be able to do that. So you could see right there, that's pretty much my day, and it's like that. Kids walk by and I say, "Take care, goodbye, eat your vegetables," and that's my tagline for the end of the day. So yeah. Next slide, please. All right. So yeah. So as mentioned briefly in that illustration I just showed right there, I just want to let you guys know a little bit more about me. And my jam is all age artwork, where I incorporate as an illustrator. I did learn at school how to draw realistically. Pretty much just of explaining how to storyboard and how to be more like direct with illustrations. That when you turn in your assignment, your assignments are pretty much should be explained one way. But as I got out of school, I was in a cookie cutter esque type of illustrator. That though it was not a bad thing, it's just that, how do you stand out? So this is where I'm gonna start letting you guys know. I started developing my cartoony style, and that's my all age style. So when I would show my work stood out a little bit different because of this style. And I'll explain what my influences are. So is a little about my work. I like to show more versatile in different nationalities, different scenes, urban communities where I'm from. And I always see and know that it's everywhere. So even as a Latino, Puerto Rican, I have family members with different skin tones, and it's beautiful. And I like to show that example in that. So I just like to incorporate all of us, and not just if it's one color or two colors. I want to show variety. And a lot of my characters, for my personal, I like to have them with different hair colors. So it's just really fun. And then you could see the little alley cat on the left side, who will talk more about that. And then you could see in the background, I even make the atmosphere like animated, even though it's 2D artwork. So bright and animated and bright clouds. So next, please. Oh, here we go. Let's get to know the comic artist. So the way I could best explain this is that I was never, first of all, that picture was that picture was used for one of my publishers to send in headshots. So all laughs aside, but that's what I was asked to turn in. As a comic artist, I wasn't really aware of that was a job. I didn't know that was a thing. I just thought, as a child growing up, I always thought that you had to be an architect, and that's great and beautiful and everything like that. But I was always I was always drawing as a kid, but in the back of my head, I'm like, I got to figure out how to get into it with my art and to do something else. But I always had that connection. As the comic book artist, that really got I got the bitten by the bug in middle school, high school, where I was just drawing characters and superhero poses and all that fun stuff. One of the things is that I got into comics around the times when it was the 90s boom. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was around the time when like Superman died, and it was like that, it was like a big thing. They had it all around to push the comic scenes, but it caught my attention, and I would see that hey, this is something that people could actually do. But I still, being from Chicago, I didn't have that connection of understanding. But I would uh, imitate and draw what I saw, and that was pretty much that. But as a comic book artist, uh, I show my variety in my work, where I like to incorporate again different nationalities, even if it's animals or aliens and all that stuff. I like to incorporate that. So my stuff as a comic book artist, I just try to show like more of a fun, a versatile theme. So, but as an artist, or as a comic book artist, it's my routine. I'm doing this every day. And even when I mentioned about teaching in a bit, it's what we see. We see it on the TV, we see it online, and you go to your store. Some character is presenting a juice box or a delicious potato chip of anything, but with the character. So as a comic artist, I get to I'm fortunate enough to create a design that will be designed for a packaged illustration. So that's that. And then also as a comic book artist, it allows me to travel both um, around the United States and then also virtual. So people get to see all around, so like right now. So it's really cool. Next slide, please. Okay. And as stated before, I was talking about the comic theme is pretty much everywhere. I wanted to talk a little bit about my teaching. I had a really great art teacher at Columbia College in one of my last years. And as mentioned before, teaching wasn't like thought of. I didn't have the perspective of seeing that you can teach others. I was always, if someone asked, you could do that, but I didn't connect that as a teacher. I had a teacher that pretty much when we were wrapping up suggested everybody should at least teach a class, and the key words that came out of that for me is, as much as you think they learn from you, you learn from them, and it's kind of like a keeps you rejuvenated, keeps you going. And I'm very fortunate to be doing this these last plus 12 years. I work with all ages. Lately, primarily, I'm working with middle schoolers. I'm working with kindergartners right now, and it's just so funny. It's keeps you on your toes, creating on the spot, just keeps you learning and not be so stagnant, not stand still, and your style will, and I believe in that, it changes, and it changes for the good, and it could change for the bad. But for myself personally, I like if I learn what is, and it could be with life, it could be with what the kids are into these days, as well as what adults are. And it could be music, it could be life and anything. But I as a teacher, I always encourage, and I push more of like I just cheerlead. I believe everyone can pick up a pencil and draw a line, use a ruler if you're worried about it being straight or crooked. But for me and my years of drawing, I do keep the fundamentals of understanding what colors and shapes and all that stuff. But I like to push the let's make the work, and as much as a artist. But as a teacher, I always try to incorporate people to complete projects, and again, it works with children as well as adults, and in the teens as well too, because we tend to make our art, and we get kind of we get to the first and second stop, but we need to finish and complete. And that's, as a teacher, that's my formula in a in a nutshell. Everything just to let's make art and continue. That idea of being perfect doesn't, you're chasing it, you're going to be stuck. But like, to complete and go on to your the next project, and those are my classes. But I make it fun, make it entertaining, and a lot of it is let's make art. That's my jam. Let's make art. And yeah, that's me as a teacher. I'm curious, does anyone have any questions about me as a teacher to answer, or I can go on to the next slide.
So there's one question here in the audience.
Have you considered ever draw a workshop at Puerto Rico sometime?
Did you hear that?
Did you hear me?
He said, would I ever come to do a workshop in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to. I would love to for that. I have also seen all those awesome comic shows that they have at in Puerto Rico that I've seen people do workshops. I would love to. I would like to go there and do a workshop on making comics or comics in general. So yes, I would.
All right, great. Thank you, Alejandro. All right, so we don't have any more questions here, so I'll go on to the next slide.
Yes, please. Oh, okay. So I'm mentioning as an artist, I'm making comics and teaching, and I have this one up because has my style of how I look as a cartoon character. But just talking about as an artist, what are my other brandings? But I wanted to have this a bit here in the beginning of explaining what I do besides teaching and making art. I feel like we are in this day and age of technology to be able to reach a broader audience. And even like right now, it's so cool to be able to have that social media platform where everybody gets to see and communicate about one's work and what they do. And this one isn't as this formula's been around, but I'm just speaking in my perspective of it, and it's pretty much podcasts, and podcasts is pretty much in every form, everywhere. I just think it's something that, in my view, this is something that I just want to explain my perspective as this. So I'm using the social media like a Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and all that fun stuff. I see this as like, instead of just having something typed out, I could do an audio, and if it could be an audio, what I talk about. And for myself, my background as for teaching and art, I like to talk about mental health and talk about your process of creating. We see a lot of social medias where everything's all great and beautiful and perfect, but a lot of us don't have time to talk about what other things that go on, what's the process, how do you do this, how do you raise money to get your books printed, how to do for like traveling and all that stuff. And this is just like something I like to incorporate in my podcast as a creator. But I totally believe in this to have like an outlet from making comics and as well as teaching. I've been doing these podcasts. I'm under like 20 episodes. It's one of the things I just, I saw an app, I got onto doing it, and just tried it. A lot of fumbles I have in there, but if you hear any other podcast, you will hear people say their first episodes were very like jagged and everything like that. But I totally believe this is something cool to have, and especially in this day and age. Actually, very influenced. We got Sharif on here, who does podcasts, and he did radio in college. And one of the things that inspires me is just to be able to explain like what's their thoughts on that. And I was inspired by him. So I always give shout outs to Sharif for, giving that lit fire just to make stuff. So it's one of those things where to get into it and just keep on creating. But yeah, that's my jam for being a podcaster, and whatever that word is, because everybody can call themselves. This is just an outlet for me to do that. But it's totally encouraged, and if you guys can, you can check it out. And they're just various, but everything will be up on the site, and you guys can see. Do we have any questions about the podcast, AleroArt podcast, and why I do podcasting?
No questions here, and I don't see any on the chat. Those that are online, if you have any questions, you can open up your mics, or you can just pop that into the chat. All right.
Okay. All right. Next, now let's talk about it as an artist and what's my influence. Want to talk about cartoons? What is it with as a creator, rather be music writing, making art in general? Where does it all like stem from? Where does it go? I'm a child of the 80s, and as a child of the 80s, I kind of feel like we had the cheesiest, doesn't make sense why it's that, but it was there. And I think I speak on my generation of, though I love the older stuff that you'll see there too. This is something that I grew up in that started forming in my head as I look at Voltron, forming Voltron. You had on the television in the morning or an afternoon or Saturday morning. Yeah, there was just that was my go-to. And at times I would actually have a piece of paper, and to be able to like draw as much as I could to see. And that was before recording or freezing or any of that stuff, or seeing. The kids today could have their tablets and computers, and they could trace it. I was just building my memory of what these characters were. And as in the comics or in this cartoon theme, I was influenced by Masters of the Universe, He-Man, Voltron, with the colors and the shapes and everything like that. And of course, can't go wrong with Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles was always in my work. Stuff goes back to like mid-grade school. I'm seeing even my siblings have some of my art pieces that have Ninja Turtles on there, and I think there's some Voltron in there too. But this was my influence in learning and making or molding and making who I am today and going on. Is I always go back to what's influence, and you even see it today in this day and age, even like on like Netflix and all that stuff. Everything's rebooted, and it's something about the nostalgia of that era that we love. And in my work especially, I always try to have the bright colorful theme that that makes my characters reflect of what I like. The next slide, please. And a little bit more. I just have to mention these guys. And these guys, Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry. If you're a cartoonist and growing up and having again the old television in front of you, you learn about storytelling, and this was one of the best for me in storytelling. Which at the time I couldn't, as a kid, I didn't know what that meant, storytelling, but the execution. And that actually helps in my storyboarding and comics as well too. And perfect example is two characters on the left side, Tom and Jerry, who didn't really talk. I mean, they had little jokes here and there, but the execution, and as you could see how, being chased and, the humor, you start to form that in your head, and it starts to get you like, how would I do that with my work? And of course, with Looney Tunes, some of the characters didn't speak, like the coyote at times, or the Roadrunner, and of course the expressions with Daffy and Bugs. These cartoons, I didn't put them in my influence, but it's all in my work. Guys like Chuck Jones and Hanna-Barbera, who does Tom and Jerry, Bob Clampett, and all the other directors and production artists that put together this form of making an animation really comes out in my work, especially from my creator-owned character, Alley Cat. He's right there. You could see in that with that tongue, the tongue has that. With you could see Tom Cat. So it's all there in my work. You could see that in any form. Does anybody have any questions about the cartoons, or what you guys are influenced by cartoons?
Nope, I don't see any questions. So we might have some at the end, I think, during the discussion. So I'll just leave that. Yeah.
Cool. Let's go. Comic books. Got to talk about how I got into comics. Again, this all unraveled for myself in middle school, around the time when they had themes, the blockbuster movies that connected all this stuff, like the Tim Burton Batman or the Christopher Reeves Superman towards the end and all that stuff. I saw the films and all that stuff, but it was just like, there's a comic book. So these comics were pretty much where I started, and a lot of us that are comic heads that got into comics in the 90s, you can't go that far without a Death of Superman. Something about that, like superheroes can die. I didn't have that concept. Spider-Man was at this time where he was like being cloned, and even in the design, and you could see actually the Spider-Man and the Spawn on the left is created by one of cartoonist Todd McFarlane. That just the way you draw looked something totally different. And even with the Death of Superman, the perspective, and they were using forms of violence that as a kid you're seeing that, and as much as you could see that was allowed, you're just like, wow, I can't imagine they could do that. So This is where it pretty much started. But yeah, with Spider-Man and Superman, and then independent books like Spawn. Um, I still was trying to understand like what would be my character. Would my character be a vigilante? Would my character be mutated? Would it be radioactive, or would it be represented something like a Superman? But I was drawn to these, and it was like I felt like I was like a bottle, boiled water that was boiling up, but I was learning. I think this is at that time you incorporate that. So I had my influences with cartoons, what I had mentioned, and then as well, these were like the things that I was seeing as a middle schooler and in high schooler that I was just like learning, but I still didn't understand like how do you go about doing this, and I was just at that spot where I was just growing, but my influence is there where always has been Spider-Man. Growing up with that, whether it be an electric company or in a newspaper, or as well as a comic. But then again, having all these supers in the background, that's the thing that got me into it. But these are the key ones that I started. So, but yeah, and if there's anything about influence about comics, I would love to answer. But if you want to, we can go to the next slide. Okay. Let's mention first. As an artist, learning about who I am as like finding out who are the faces that were connected to the drawings. So as mentioned before, showing Spider-Man and Spawn and Superman, edit that those were just it was just listed. But I learned about Alex Romenberg, and actually this artist was he was drawing these characters like in the 50s and mid 60s, but he was just uh, understanding that it wasn't just the Jack Kirby who was the creator of like Captain America and all these other characters that from Time Comics and then Marvel Comics. um, there were other illustrators, and to find out that we have a Puerto Rican um, artist, that was really like wild. Actually, I got to see a few of his art pieces at a museum, and I actually choked up because believe it was the one on the right with the Captain America hitting the Nazi. I saw the actual line work of that, and just to be wild that to see how it was like drawn. I've seen original artwork all the time; it was great. But something about it, just seeing and knowing about Alex, that being an illustrator and doing comics, he also did sci-fi artwork and those sci-fi magazines that incorporated the theme of like what we would think the future would be. So it'd be like looking at a television phone or something of the sense of like teleporting or floating cars. So he was one of the guys that were doing that back in the day before, all this computer technology. And he was using airbrush, and his art style was very it was just out there that he was doing this. And I know I saw a written post that Stan Lee had mentioned him. So if you guys don't know about him, I would definitely get a chance to look him up and his work. It's very inspiring and to know about him. And I'm very privileged to learn about him, as well as getting to see his work in there. So that's one of my for one of the artists that I'm influenced by, but definitely for my Puerto Rican background, it's good to see that, because you want to kind of see representation that though I love the other influence, to have somebody in here that's really cool. So that's Alex Schromenberg, if you guys check him out. So all right, and next one, please. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Puerto Rican Strong. Puerto Rican Strong is an anthology that was created, and it was created in 2018, put together, and in 2019 it was out. It was put out there. So just wanted to give a shout out to writer Dave Scheitz that actually works with Lionforge, who had brought up and mentioned my name, that I have an illustrator that does comics and is Puerto Rican, the background to contribute. So I thank Dave again for that. And I got to talk with the editors, and the editors asked, "Hey, we're making this this book." And at the time of, I didn't really get into the whole politics, but I know a lot of the book channeled things that were going on with Hurricane Maria. And I was asked, is there a particular direction? And I was told just go with what I viewed or how I felt. And as an educator that teaches, I really wanted to keep let's show the wholesomeness of the kids at school, and let's talk about that they know that we have these characters that the kids learn about, that of our heritage, that how they see it. And I just thought, what if can have it illustrated as a super, and having the artwork and illustrated. I had my good friend Sharif add the words to it, and we're able to have this these pages in this book, which was great. A lot of other creators had different themes, and if you flip through it, you could see that there was different, like, versatile. But my story in my head, pretty much direct. It was, let's keep it again. Everything is all ages. I wanted to make it bright. I wanted to make it colorful, and I just had that sense. And for what adding the dialogue from Sharif Musalam was really great. We were given like a short time to do that. Sometimes deadlines work like that. Sometimes you gotta get everything out, completed. And I had drew it, line drawing, inked it, and of course colored it as well. And Sharif added the words, and just going back and forth of how, thinking about like what we, what would be great for this. And but it kept coming back to kids. Let's give it like a positive understanding of how it is in school for kids, and in that direction. And you could see the bright color to it. So in this Puerto Rican Strong, it was mentioned a lot on social handles, and even mentioned on CNN. And one of the things that led to that was to get people to be aware of what was going on. And on CNN, they showed a few pages, and one of the pages they show the one of my pages, just to show the versatile in there. So months later, for what it is that we had put out there for this anthology, I was notified that the book was nominated for what it's the equivalent to the Oscars, is called an Eisner. Will Eisner is an illustrator as himself. That years after he passed, they made a particular award for him called the Eisner. So the Eisners had Puerto Rican Strong nominated for an anthology. And if you guys know, anthologies are made up of different stories. So I get asked a lot to contribute to that. And Puerto Rican Strong, actually, they won. 2019, it got an Eisner award for its book. And all the creators, including Sharif Musalam, I'm just very grateful to be amongst the creatives to be part of that. And making the book, again, from my perspective, I was fortunate enough to share with my mom, who had passed later on in life, that she got to see this. So it's very personal. And of course, it was very personal about what's going on in the world, and to incorporate, like, show light. And that's pretty much my this is pretty much my what I try to go with. I'm not really good at explaining it, but my work speaks for itself. So this is what I wanted to have. I wanted to show something bright in there, and I was very fortunate to have that. So any questions about this for this awesome book, or any questions in general, like the process of this? Because I guess the only thing I'll just say is that we had a short time to have this done. It was our communication with the editors were very like quick, and of course me talking back and forth with Sharif. Our time frame was we got everything out in a timely manner, so we worked out great. And to have this out there. So if anybody have any questions about Puerto Rico Strong?
Here in the live audience, we don't have any questions, and I don't see any in the chat either. So we'll.
Okay. You can go to the next one then. Ooh, and this is kind of like the when you have a DVD and you have the bonus behind the scenes. These are the pages, and one of the things asked, what is the process for me? What do I use? I let people know whatever's comfortable with you, do that. But if you are inspired to what I use, I was just using a Photoshop to color, and I used at this time it's called Manga Studio. I believe it's called Clip Studio. So it's a digital program to use, and it's the same as using traditional. Using digital tools, I get to move a little bit faster. And when I'm asked or what's my turnaround time for making art or working on pages like these pages, I could draw 2 pages a day, sometimes 3, and then weird circumstances I got up to 4 pages, and that's without my delicious coffee. But drawing the pages, you want to understand what's the environment, 2, who are the characters, and then 3, what is the audience? What do you want the audience to get from the characters? So again, regardless if you're drawing cartoony or realistic, I try to have that in between dynamic to get people to see what I'm doing. So this is I use Clip Studio to create this. These are just a couple of examples, kind of like in the behind the scenes of how I make my art. So these are on comic book pages. So yeah, that's Puerto Rico Strong, and very, very, again, fortunate to be part of that and to collaborate with Sharif and to collaborate with the Lion Forge that had everybody in there. And then for Puerto Rico Strong, was the only Chicago illustrator in that book that was told that all the editors were going to meet up downtown. And I was told downtown. I was like, oh, I'll be downtown. But it was downtown New York. So majority of the creators live in New York. We're all gathering up. And apparently I was one of the few that was not there. I was here in Chicago. So I did have a signing downtown close by my college of attending, Columbia College, but it was at a comic shop. And a lot of people came in, and it was very sweet. So next question, if any. Oh, okay, let's talk about random art. As an illustrator, I am fortunate enough to be able to draw and color my work. I'm given dialogue, so then I add the word balloon bubble. These are all done digitally. I again, when I'm telling a page in the story, I try to incorporate, again, what's the mood, who are the characters, and what's the theme. And it's just, again, this is just how I work, and adding pages. And you could see in we call them panels, but you could see in the frames, usually the frames are between 3 to 6. And then I got a couple of writers who've asked for more added into there. So to me personally, I like to keep everything between 3 and 6, but I do have it where we do add more to it. And actually, the last frame of it is actually one of my stories that I incorporated. So it was just like a little tale that your eyes are just following left and right, left and right. So this is my random art, how I work. I work digitally. I use primarily right now, again, do digitally. I use an iPad and I use Procreate. And I'm able to do, like I say, 2 pages a day. But if I am coloring a page, I incorporate the coloring as the other page. So it's usually two pages tops that I can color within the same day. As long as I know what the lines are put down, the coloring comes faster. But if I can't see in my head how I work, it takes me a while. But that's my process, and this is my random art of showing that in making comics. Any questions, or we can go to the next slide. We're gonna start talking about this guy, Alley Cat. Alley Cat is my creator-owned character. I as a creator have learned that everyone should have their own IP. Basically, that's you're independent, like under a property that you create. He's a great mascot for me. Alley Cat is a tabby orange cat, but I do have them in different colors. This is one of my things that I've done. I made him into a little toy. It's a little figurine in here, and he's in there. So I'm gonna talk about Alley Cat. You can see him right there. The Alley Cat comic actually started off as a sticker, and the sticker manifested into different shirts, murals, and all that stuff. And I'll be talking about that. But Alley Cat comic, a lot of people ask first and foremost, is he in a book? I said, yeah, he's in a book, but I wanted to show him in different story styles. But I wanted to let people know that there is a comic about him, and there are comics, and I try to make it bright and colorful. I come from that era of like round, chibi, cutesy style, but he's a little bit of a hilarious hooligan, and I label him as a hooligan for hire. So he'll go to a party and he'll have a lampshade on his head, and he parties it up, makes the environment fun. And then, like I mentioned before, what my influences are from cartoons. There is that Tom and Jerry, there is that Looney Tunes S to it with the big eyes and sticking out their tongue, and the body shape just wacky and elastic. One of my previous stories, I have him like encountering a so-called purple monster, Grimace, if you will, from McDonald's, and they're just joyriding and they're eating burgers and drinking milkshakes around. So, and you could see everything's pretty much in Chicago for the theme. So I play off that. I as creating my comic, I also like to hear when people can relate to certain things. So him being wacky, I have a lot of people that say I was feeling that. I could see myself doing it, or I know somebody, or even their pets come off of that. That's why I do this little montage of Alley Cat. He's pretty much one guy, but his persona could be gray, could be pink, blue, all that. And fun fact, for my students that do see what I make for Alley Cat that I bring to school, like little stickers and something like motivation stickers, like "Hey, have a good day" or something like that. I do have students that ask, "Is Alley Cat a boy or a girl?" And for me as a teacher, and I think that's great because it sparks something in their head of how they incorporate themselves in creating. And I ask them, well, what do you think Alley Cat is? And if you want Alley Cat to be a boy, it can be a boy. If you want him to be a girl, it could be a girl. And it's just that for my tool to use when I promote artwork, is just to get the kids involved. So he comes in different colors. He'll come in with different facial expressions. He sometimes doesn't wear glasses. He does wear glasses, but he's there for his friends, and yeah, that's what I try to incorporate. But for Alley Cat comic, I have 4 stories already, and 2 of them already printed out, and I have those up on the site. And yeah, but this is getting into the world of making more comic books with Alley Cat. And of course, the last panel we'll see right here he's gonna he's gonna go into like a candy world. So I really wanted to express like my style for that. Again, this is like all age look, and especially like right now, like with the Dog Man, and they have the Hello Kitty and all that stuff. I just want to have my character incorporated. And just like how, by no means I state myself as them, but I'm influenced by the Walt Disney. I'm influenced by the Schlesinger Looney Tune cartoons. I just want to have a character that's slapstick funny, but also just to have some fun adventures in there. So that's my Alley Cat. It's basically me being influenced from the cartoons that I just expressed, but in my style. So, but at the end of the day, I would totally encourage anybody who is influenced, look at what you guys like, but incorporate it in your own mascot. So make your own Alley Cat, make your own Bugs Bunny, make your own, Mickey Mouse, but respectfully, because you want it to be true to you. A lot of people ask, what's my relationship with the Alley Cat comic? It's basically me in my head. It's, having fun, hanging out, being silly, and, just having like more of a bright mindset of things. And I just try to keep it fun with my Alley Cat comics. So you can go to the next one if anyone has any questions. Oh, and then speaking of creator own with Alley Cat, as doing my comics and as I got older, knowing that I teach, even before teaching, I always had a love for science and how do I incorporate science and how would I have this and that and how would I connect myself with creator owns. So I want to talk a bit about element factor, and this is it's called the element factor. It's like American Idol meets superheroes, but they're kids. So this is my characters, and then also for fun fact, all the characters in this are primarily my nieces and nephews, except the two girls that are in pink. Those are my twin sisters, and that's me as a younger brother. I like to incorporate my my family in some form, but these are my my nieces and nephews. But back to that, I like to incorporate things that I enjoy with science, and I like to show show variety. This is more, they're like a family, and they work together, and I incorporate that when I talk to my students, and we're all together at one, that we are come from different backgrounds, but we're pretty much all together. So I really enjoy this. I'm actually in the process of creating an oversized graphic novel. It does take time. Making books takes a minute, but I originally made 3 books, 20-page books, and I actually made a coloring book, activity book that relates to science. So you get to learn a little bit about how things work and just things that in school, that activities and stuff like that. So this is another one, and this is my characters, the element factor. So this is, as you can see, it's the color version and then the line work, and that's how primarily I work. Everything is all digital. Again, I have 3 more stories to complete. I'm actually the so-called writing. Everything I do is in storyboard. Is complete, but one more book that I'm mapping out, and afterwards they're going to be re-illustrated, and actually their look will be a little bit more updated too. So, but yeah, this is my creator-owned comic, Element Factor. Next, or any questions? Back with the Alley Cat, because I mentioned the activity book with Element Factor, I also wanted to incorporate a activity book with Alley Cat, and all my work pertains with my life, with school, and my creator own. Creating that Alley Cat coloring book, as mentioned like before with the Element Factor. This is was very very personal for me. It was really it was one of these things where when my mom had passed around the time I was trying to figure out what is the thing that I have a connection with my art, and what I go through and how I perceive myself as a creator, as an illustrator. One of the cool things about my mom was she got into coloring and she enjoyed the cat, as she addressed it, the cat. Even my father would say the cat. Why does the cat wear glasses, or why does the cat have your sweater? I'm like, I'm the cat. So that's really cool, and your family supports it. But when my mom had passed, I had an idea that I just need to keep busy. What would my mom like? So she did like coloring and coloring books. But while I was doing this was during actually COVID shutdown. So I was still working with the schools, and I would get asked, "Hey, can you contribute with a coloring sheet?" And I got up to like 11 coloring sheets. And this is without AleCat, but this was just a thing that I made of coloring books. And I'm like, oh, I do this all the time. So after the 11th book, I decided to put everything together. I put 72 pages of a coloring book. Let me grab this together. This is another cover of it, but this is up on Amazon. And you could see it on the screen as well. That this was something that while everything was shut down, you can get everything digitally. So I was able to do crowdfunding, Kickstarter. People pledged. They didn't donate, so I always let people know when you do crowdfunding, let people know that you're pledging, you're not donating. You donated a jacket, not donating cash. So you have to let people know, pledge. People pledged. They got a full 72-page coloring book, and it came with coloring Crayolas, came with stickers, like stuff like this, book bags, and all that fun stuff. But creating the coloring book, I got into that more when I was doing the teaching, as well as shaping my brand. And though I can't really use a Spider-Man or Bugs Bunny, AleCat was my mascot that I got to share. So I was able to crowdfund this book. It was successful. Got this out there, and a lot of people dug it. I do have a couple of more coloring books. Just have to have them placed in the next spot, but that's my AleCat coloring book. Any questions on that? Or we can go to the next one if you like. And back to that was mentioning element factor. So this is what I mentioned before. So element factor, basically, like I mentioned before, it's science and just activity. So this one, I just like to incorporate that. So if you guys that are thinking about your brand, or thinking about being a cartoonist or an illustrator and sort, I strongly suggest that you should have your own character, and no one can't tell me I'm drawing my characters wrong. These are my characters. So one, I get to incorporate how I draw. Two, I get to incorporate things I love, science and cartoony style and all that stuff. So this is just one of the examples of showing how I draw. So a lot of people, if you see at the store and you see like those existing comics and coloring books, hey, why can't you do that? And that's how I felt about that, creating both my AleCat and then the coloring book for the element factor. And there is another coloring book for element factor as well, so that's coming soon. Next one, please. More of it, where I wanted to just show a variety of the element factor puzzles and showing like connect the dots. A lot of this stuff that I created, I did by hand, and then I just retraced. This is just an example. A lot of people would go through a book and they'll see it, but it actually takes time. So I'll have things like what's missing in the picture. What would the picture look like? What it incorporates when you connect the dots. We all know that, and that's what I wanted to do. So I noticed that as a cartoonist and creative, you have to have, or if you want to, you can have a little bit more. So I really wanted to get in more in that, because as a kid, I enjoyed puzzles. I enjoyed the connect the dots and all that stuff. And I know a lot of adults these days still like stuff like that. So I just try to incorporate that. So this is just more inside of the coloring book. You can go to the next one if you can, please. And more with the element factor. This is the first three books covers. So I'm the writer, illustrator, creator. group of kids that with superpowers. And again, these are my my nieces and nephews and my sisters in there. And these are just a couple of the covers I wanted to share. Yeah, really fun creating your own characters and being your own brand. It's a lot of work. It's what is it? The blood, sweat and tears. You really get into it, but it's definitely a lot of it's a passion. I really do appreciate being able to create my own characters and to be able to incorporate things that I love, like my family, nostalgia, movie, cartoons, video games. You can kind of see like in the picture Monkey Business, kind of has like a Donkey Kong-esque feel. He's throwing barrels and you have to save the girl. So yeah, that's that. So like I said, I mentioned in my work, I like to incorporate things that I relate to. And I actually encourage that when you create, whether it be writing or it's in music or if it's even in your paintings or art, put a little bit of you in there. If you wear glasses, put glasses in there. You can see Alec right there with glasses, and I got glasses. Let's see. I just try to keep it fun. I mentioned that before. And regardless if you're a kid or an adult, people always try to find like a connection, and your connection should be something that inspires you. Just like someone was inspired by Snoopy, they had their pet, and the pet just had that mannerism. Well, Alley Cat's pretty much how I view myself, and it's especially like with these characters here. I just want to incorporate things that that brought joy and brought inspiration and stuff like that. And these are my niece and nephews do that for me, so it's really cool. Next, please. Oh, these are my freelance creator writer Ellie Elginton. I met. She's actually lives in England, so shout outs to Ellie. This is her creator own character. She created these characters when she was a child. The idea sketch was more of her style as a child, but as she got older, she wanted an illustrator. So I came in, and these three pictures are three graphic novels, and these are up on Amazon and all that fun stuff. But we worked on these books for more than almost 7 years. So it was getting the books done. Again, takes a while. It does take time. And to get everything funded through crowdfunding again, we were able to do that. But I was very excited that when we met first online, and she actually flew to Chicago, so we got to meet. My whole objective was to make sure to say, you wanted 3 books, we're gonna do 3 books. So I want to say I'm very proud to say that I was able to complete 80-page story illustration written by Ellie Elginton, and I was able to incorporate style to add to this. So the first book, of course, that's her original idea. The second one, actually, this one I wrote it. So I wrote and drew this, and she edited it, of course. But while she was working on the third book, which is technically a second book, I asked her, I go, what do you have in mind for this? She says, well, I'm working on this idea, and was actually, I suggested, like, what if the characters, it's called Power Punch Bootcamp, what if it opened up the camp to other supers? And of course, I had to bring my element factor in there. So you see them in there, and it's fun, it's bright, it's colorful, there's interaction, and I had so much fun with this. I had it be something that incorporates things that I think are silly. Shout outs to Sharif Masalam. He did some editing in there, and he was just telling me, he's like, what if the characters had this and that? So it's always that cool thing when you have people around you that help mold the project. And for the third book was pretty much let's have the more characters be show perspective of the villain, so it mirrors the first book. So you could see it blue and calm in this one, and then the last one it's October red and orange, and you can see that style. So that's Power Punch Bootcamp. Next one, please. I'm going to be showing, these are a few of my pieces that I do traditional. So this is watercolor and inks. These are just blank sketch covers. Sketch covers are a lot at the comic store that you can pick up. you could just draw in your style. So if you guys are familiar with the DC Comics Suicide Squad, like Harley Quinn and Shark King, and you can see that you could see it in my style. So it's fun. You can go to the next one because I know I have a couple of these. Please. We all know Iron Man. Again, Iron Man here. I have a more roundy and you can see a little Sofa Kingdom face on the picture sticker on the side. Shout out to Sofa. This is just the more of my style. A lot of people always ask to draw on this one, and I'm very fortunate because usually I usually when people ask to see their work, they want to see what's inside of the cover and drawn like that. I get to have people see my roundy, cartoony style. So this is how I interpret Iron Man. Next one, please. She-Hulk, beautiful She-Hulk. Again, this is characters that I get to draw in my style. So I just want to show a little bit of my traditional style in here. So it's pretty fun. Very bright, very colorful, and of course it's that cartoony style. Next, please. I do get asked to work with different companies that incorporate needing an illustrator, and with this, I was very fortunate to work with an aviator group. Actually, the pilot flies the plane, has his little, or not say little, but he has his own plane, and though they had the story and the idea, they were just like, can we give him like a look? So I gave him that like bright Tex Avery-esque airplane look that their story gets to incorporate. So again, everything comes back to my work where I want to include an activity or something to learn. So it was really fun to work with Blue. This is the airplane is called, and you could see examples. So you get to color by number, you get to talk facts, and then you get to learn about aviation. So this is one of my activities. So I get to do a lot of activity books in my work. So I'm very proud of that. Next, please. AleroArt, everything AleroArt. It's really funny how I look right there. That's after 4 cups of coffees. Just wanted to show my work and style. And as I stated earlier on, I try to keep it bright, try to keep it round, colorful, youthful. I just want people to know that this is the kind of work that I am incorporated and part of. Though I draw realistically, my stuff is more like cartoony round. So next, please. These are logos. One of the fun, cool things about being here in Chicago, Illinois, is a lot of the local businesses do reach out, and I still see commercials on random channels that show commercials that I was a part of. So I get a lot of requests for logos. And being at Columbia College, I didn't even know what a logo was, but I had a branding class, and I didn't know that. I just thought drawing, and I had a really great teacher that just told me to should get more into branding. So these are part of my staple as a freelance. I make logos I get to incorporate in these businesses. So next piece. More avatars and portraits, and these are this is all done digitally. Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator. When people are needing an idea that they're trying to sell, whether it be something delicious or some kind of brand, they need something bright. They need something that sticks out, and these are just part of that. I also have people that ask for illustrations that they want their faces drawn. So this was more of like a video game-esque company for a radio show that everyone wanted to look kind of Minecrafty, because Minecraft's very popular right now, and just trying to incorporate that. So this is what I get asked to do in my daily, besides being a teacher, an illustrator, I get to freelance and create content like that. Next, please. And again, more of the mascots, more of that. Growing up as a kid, I would always look at labels, look at cereal boxes, just the characters, like, how do they do this? Like, it looks cool, but I didn't know they were jobs, but these are things that are around. So this was for Blue, for the aviator to be on stickers. The one on the right is for a paleta, like for ice cream, incorporating like some characters that are based on the creator's child. So I had fun with that. So these were really cool. I do get people that ask me, like when I do artwork for restaurants, I've yet to throw in my token and say, can I get my free food? But I've been asked, hey, if you're ever coming around here, you'll get free food. And I'm waiting for that. And that's like one of those awesome bonuses and to take advantage of and to do. So look out and get some free ice cream soon. Next one, please. Besides making brands and products for other people, you should definitely make stuff for yourself. And we're in this day and age of product creation. Fortunate enough, again, one, to have my own character, Alley Cat. Two is to come up with my own stories. And then three is to be able to know how to put your character on brand. So if you could find a generator online, I can't tell you which one I use because they're various ones. So they always are different ones that work, some ones that don't. So I don't, I always let people know I use just various ones. Work what works for you. That's what works for me. I found a generator that was able to make put my artwork on book bags, and it's really surreal to see that. So I have it on book bags. Puzzles are a really fun one thing. So to have my character on there, and of course in the middle is who would ever thought Alley Cat wrapping paper, like that's even that just in the roll looks really cool. It's really awesome. I totally recommend that for your creator owns. Next slide, please. Art versus the artist. I just wanted to talk this briefly. Some of us that they do as creator, like where does the line stop? Where does it go? Briefly, I just always try to promote self in my podcast, and even talking in general is like self like mental. Self-mental, you have to really have something that we all have our days where it gets overwhelmed or stress. Making art is great, building a community is great, all that stuff, but you gotta have like yourself that's you're connected and where you draw the line. And I wanted to bring this up in this post because a lot of us have this idea that well, everything's great and everything works out great. Not everything all works out. You have to try different things. And I especially in this day and age with social, we have a lot of up and comers that will make stuff and they want it to be perfect, or they want to live that life. And the reality is not all of it works out the way. And some of us actually burn out from that. So I totally tell people, like, it's okay to take a break. And I take my own words to learn that is I have to take a break from what I do and create, because the art and an artist, so much that you can give that you do need your own personal break. You need to go stop, take a walk, breathe, go make a sandwich, talk with friends. If you talk with your friends and family, that's beautiful. We should all have that. And a lot of us, it's the work is there. You need to make time for people and family. And that's the key, because that's what makes us grow, Charlie Brown. So I just wanted to share that in this slide. Next slide, please. Talking about murals, being asked to do murals around Chicago, I'm very fortunate. It's very cool. It's very awesome. And again, incorporating Alley Cat in there, it's such a treat. And a lot of people that point and say, I know who that guy is, and he's Alley Cat. And I go by Alley Cat too. So I got to have a couple around Chicago. Some of them got painted over, but that's part of how the world goes with that. But some of them are still up there, so it's really cool. And I plan to do more. Again, bright character, a little bit with a message, something with a theme. If you guys get into murals, do that. I was doing like small murals in like on school walls just for stuff, but it incorporates with the students, so that's really cool. But to be asked personally to be able to do these mural pieces, it's really fun. You can go to the next one because I'm going to talk more about the murals, please. You get to have something that's very connected to who you are. The one on the left, Alley Cat. I wanted to incorporate Alley Cat with my view of being in Chicago and my part of growing up as an 80s baby and we used to call the bus service the green limousine. So those of you know, you know. If you don't, you need to know. So I wanted to incorporate that, and he's just like you could see his hat is even shrinking in the picture. But I wanted to show this. I call it the Sears Tower still. I don't call it the Willis Tower. There, and the John Hancock, and he kind of has like that, like giant Godzilla-esque feel to it. I just wanted to have that, but it was really fun, and a lot of people. I got a lot of comments that mentioned that, and unfortunately, it got painted over. And I had a lot of people who wrote me and said they felt really sad. So I felt really bad for them for that. But for it, you know, when you have your artwork out as murals, it comes and goes. The one on the right is very awesome because it's get to collaborate with a good friend that I went to grade school with, Dretsky 88. He had an idea that his character was gonna have a pets, and he asked me to incorporate. What if can I have Alley Cat in the picture? I said that's cool, and he actually suggested I draw Alley Cat in there. So it was kind of my I've done murals, but this one was very cool to be part of this, to have for this picture. So that is really cool. I love it. Next one, please. Next slide. And of course, all around, just wrapping up around the Chicago areas. This theme was in black and white, so I wanted to incorporate River of Styx. And Alley Cat has that theme of Mickey Mouse's Steamboat Willie. So he's just going by whistling. And then on the right side, you see a bunch of stickers. Alley Cats everywhere around Chicago. Alley Cats even showed up in parts of different countries, the Philippines. I even was told he showed up in Hawaii, like a sticker somewhere. So that's cool to hear people tell me. Germany as well. It's really great. So that's Alley Cat with walls and stickers. Next slide, please. More stickers and more branding. So this is just pretty much, I just let people know, if you have a character, try to think of them in different atmospheres. I just wanted to do one for ice cream. I don't want to do one that incorporated him in a cartoony style. And then I wanted to have him as a theme, so you could see the Michael Myers, the Chuckies, and the SpongeBobs and the Cuphead. So these are sticker designs, and I just wanted to share that. So that's good. I can go to the next one. I do still, as always, as part of my daily, is I would get asked to incorporate drawing my style of an existing character. It's really great to collaborate. And because my work stands out as doing a lot of activity art, this was part of an activity book that I got to draw. So those some pages that I wanted to add. So it's cool. You can go to the next one. I think I have more of them. Yes, and you can see these are just what you see in coloring books. So when people ask me like, how'd you get into making coloring books? You have to have, if you have a character, you just try to want to branch out more with your brand. And that's what I incorporated in my work. So just have fun with this. So you can go to the next one, please. More Power Punch that I incorporated as an promotion, as an creator or working with people who want to make designs, just like I had for the ad for today's event. I like to incorporate things that exist. Try to use like a bumper or a title or something referencing video games. This was to show versatile and show that. And you could see a video game. You could see like a loading screen. Of course, one of the jokes in here is the character that he's like oversized. So that was from a cartoon idea. So it's just a bonus art that I always incorporate. Just kind of like when you look at DVDs with the bonus material. So I had that added to it. So next, please. Again, that was the character from the Power Punch Bootcamp, and it was an awesome treat to work with Ellie Elginton, creator of Power Punch Bootcamp, and just to show that style. So very, very bright, colorful that I do in my work, and I line work and coloring. And you can even see in the outline of the skin, you can see I add color that to that too. So it's fun. Next, please. I do get asked for pitches from for TV show pilots, And these were just some designs that actually I got asked for around the time of COVID. Just some characters to pitch. So it's kind of my style, but kind of the idea of what they were asking for was more of a Cartoon Network. So I just wanted to show like versatile of these characters. You can go to the next one, please. More of that. You could see Rosie from the Jetsons in this the robot there. And these are just some character pitches that I've done. So yeah. Next, please. All right. And now we're getting to the part where just let you guys know where you guys can find me. I have my own podcast. I am up on YouTube. I do have other platforms like Spotify, and you guys can check out and hear more about it. I always post like every other week. I try to incorporate something you guys can check out. AleroArt podcast. You even type it up in Google. AleroArt podcast. You can check it out. Next. Again, YouTube. Everybody that that checks out YouTube, checks out videos. I'm building my channel. I incorporate my teachings as well as my activities. Like I said, to break away from my making art, I like to play video games, and I'll put little video games that I play up on there. So thank you very much. Thank you. And that's just one of the platforms, and it's free. And then my Instagram, if you guys can give me a follow, Instagram. I build my channel. Like I mentioned before, I'm an art teacher, make comics and creating content. So good. Next. I guess that's pretty much that for them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much, Alejandro, for the great presentation. I don't know if anybody that's here might have any other questions. And let me check real quick to see if there is. Okay, so you've got some comments here. Great presentation. Have a nice day. You got a shout out as well from Jose Luis, and also from, let's see, Sharif. I really appreciate, Alejandro, you coming, saying yes to this activity, our 2025 National Library Week, and really appreciate you giving us this amazing presentation. So if there are no other questions, if anybody has questions here, ¿tiene alguna pregunta?
Can you send me the evaluation? I have to be.
Oh yes, I'll send it. If you filled it out, I will send it to you. Yes. Perfect. Great. Okay, so we have a question from here.
Okay.
Have a drawing instruction book of how to draw basics, about basic skills of drawing. Have you read some book?
Yeah, I do. I looked up basic instructions of drawing like lifelike figures, how to do shapes and stuff like that. I totally encourage it. But I also encourage draw from what's around you. Draw what's at your home, draw outside, draw cars, draw hands. It's totally encouraged. But pretty much all of the books have the same fundamentals, and I totally encourage it. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thanks so much, Alejandro. So thanks for all of those that were online. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And thanks again for those that were here. I don't see any other questions. Really enjoyed this. This was great. It was wonderful to see your trajectory, the journey of a graphic artist, their everyday life and what you do and all the different things that you do in the different formats. So that was really fun to hear that and to see it. So thank you so very, very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And we will be then signing out. Okay. Take care, everyone. And have a great rest of the National Library Week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye.